What's up, horror lovers? Picture a postcard-perfect cottage hiding in the hills, fireflies buzzing like little neon arrows toward fun. Yet the second our unwitting group of friends crosses the threshold, the air grows stale, almost pre-digested. A digital chime from the Airbnb app slams their wallets. An €85 linen and towel package. Pay up or sleep on bare mattresses. They grumble, tap accept, and convince themselves it's only a small scratch on the weekend's paint job. But overhead, a faint click echoes from the rafter shadow. Too mechanical to be settling wood, too soft to be anything but a tiny motor adjusting its glassy stare. If they'd paused to wonder why the hallway lights seemed to wink, they might have sensed the house waking up, eager to devour every private second they were about to gift it. Dawn leaks through dusty curtains in bruised oranges, and the itinerary kicks off until one friend slips into the downstairs bathroom, shuts the flimsy door, and the cheap lock mutates into a steel jaw. 10 minutes stretch to 30. Condensation beads along grout lines. The trapped voice inside rises from guys, little help, to raspy panic. Shoulder bashes fail. YouTube tutorials won't load. The host's phone rings into the void. Steam thickens until every tile becomes a warped mirror reflecting fear back tenfold. Outside, no one notices the pencil-sized lens hidden in the vent, dutifully archiving claustrophobic whimpers in 1080p. Plans for lakeside selfies die. Terror and embarrassment take their place, while the minutes bleed out like water under the door. 4 hours in, the host finally appears, unapologetic grin, rust-bit screwdriver, zero concern. He pokes the lock once, shrugs, and declares the guests must have abused the handle. Instead of mountain trails and cold beers, 2 friends are dispatched on a dusty 20-mile pilgrimage for drill bits. Back at the cottage, daylight fades, the prisoner's voice softens to a cracked whisper, and the host scrolls his phone, thumbs twitching like a bored conductor. Every so often, his gaze climbs to the ceiling corner where a red pinpoint blinks, confirmation that the ordeal is being watched, and worse, enjoyed. When the latch finally spits out metal shavings and the door groans open, relief is poisoned by the host's parting shot. Next time, be gentler. The group tries to salvage the evening, charcoal sparks, forced jokes, but each laugh feels counterfeit. Shadows crawl longer than physics should allow, and that same red LED keeps pulsing like a slow heartbeat no one else hears. Checkout comes with hollow smiles and a promise to leave an honest review. On the drive home, they craft it. Linen fee, jammed bathroom, negligent host, no insults, no exaggerations, submit, a satisfying ping. By sunrise, the review has vanished, swallowed by the platform without trace or explanation. Their truth dies somewhere in an algorithmic oubliette, and a chill sets in that no road trip playlist can thaw. Then the host's message detonates on their screens. Remove the lies or pay for the broken lock. Attached is a still image, grainy, time-stamped, the hallway inside the house, their own faces frozen mid-arrival. Footage, the listing mentioned only external security cameras. Hart's jackhammer. If he filmed them lugging bags, what else did he capture? Sleepwear, arguments, tears. A second image follows, one friend slamming a door, proof, he claims, of reckless damage. The camera angle is impossibly intimate, positioned higher than any light fixture. The house, they realize, was never empty. It watched them as a predator watches prey, patient and hungry. Memories rewind in sickening flash cuts. They picture lenses inside smoke detectors, microphones hiding behind air fresheners, maybe even a peephole in the bathroom vent. Why not? The lock malfunction takes on chilling new context. Was it mechanical failure or remote-triggered theater designed to squeeze genuine panic out of its star? The host's earlier indifference warps into sadistic glee. He didn't just ignore their problem, he curated it. Their laughter, their fear, their frustration, priceless episodes for an audience of one. Armed with screenshots and Airbnb's own no undisclosed indoor cameras policy, they enter customer support purgatory, looping hold music, scripted empathy. We take privacy very seriously, a rep assures before escalating the ticket into a black hole. Days crawl by. At last an email lands with surgical coldness, no policy violation detected. Beneath the signature block glitters the host's superhost badge, 5 pastel stars practically winking. It feels like a medical bill thanking the tumor for prompt payment. Justice, it seems, bows to whoever brings the platform more nightly bookings. Legal options flicker across cracked phone screens, wiretapping statutes, invasion of privacy torts, class action whispers, but every path is paved with steep fees and the looming threat of retaliation via leaked footage. The host controls the narrative, owns the tapes, and has already shown a taste for manipulation. Meanwhile, invisible eyes seem to sprout everywhere,
Laptop webcams, smart TV sensors, the innocent red glow of a powered-off speaker. Home no longer feels like sanctuary. It feels like set dressing, waiting for the director to yell action. Sleep turns carnivorous. They tape over webcams, yank smart bulbs, dismantle smoke detectors just to prove nothing lurks inside. Dreams become found footage reels, doors locking from the outside, unseen audiences applauding every tremble. In waking hours, they carve their warning onto forums the platform can't scrub. Always read the fine print. Ask where every camera sits. Never assume privacy because someone earns a badge. Yet the deepest dread isn't what was filmed, it's what could be released if they push too hard. Moments of vulnerability weaponized into clickbait or blackmail. Hold on to your spine, because here's the final shot. That cottage still stands, profile picture glowing, red LEDs perhaps already blinking for the next carefree travelers chasing a budget getaway. Behind smiling avatars and star ratings, predators may sit in dark rooms, harvesting private lives frame by frame. So next time you browse dreamy listings, remember monsters don't always hide under beds. Sometimes they host them. Check the ceilings, question the surcharges, trust your goosebumps. Because a cheap stay can cost far more than money, it can cost the last shred of your privacy. Sleep tight if you dare.
You flick on a bedside lamp and realize the lumpy popcorn texture on the ceiling isn't plaster at all. It's alive, wriggling, and just a heartbeat away from raining down on your face. Yeah, that image has been squatting in my skull ever since I rolled into a cheap Danish Airbnb that looked harmless on the listing photos. But screens lie, right? The place felt off from the first step across the threshold, musty air thick as soup, furniture clinging to the 70s like polyester. I shrugged, dropped my backpack and told myself, it's only for one night. Cheap digs, easy sleep. Little did I know that above my head lurked a carnival of eight-legged nightmares getting ready for their midnight debut, ready to crawl in. Let's rewind 12 hours. I'd been solo trekking through Denmark, surfing that cozy hike wave like a pro. Every host up to this point had welcomed me with fresh pastries, cinnamon candles, or at least a friendly hey, but the owner of this suburban bunker near Copenhagen tossed me the key code via text and vanished from the chat faster than you can say Øresund. No greeting, no warm lighting, just a silent corridor that sucked up sound. The floors creaked in a weird syncopated rhythm, as if the wood remembered footsteps that weren't mine. The kitchen smelled faintly of forgotten coffee grounds, and was that old leather? Probably my overactive murder podcast brain, I laughed, kicking off my sneakers. Dark humor defense, level 1. My bedroom sat beneath an A-frame roof so low I could massage the rafters without tiptoeing. The single skylight was blotched with dead leaves, turning the late summer sun into a jaundiced smear. Cheap, sure, but a bed is a bed when you're bus-lagged and running on gas station hot dogs. I unrolled my sleeping bag on top of the suspiciously thin quilt, you never trust those, and did a quick bug scan. One spider in the corner, tiny. You stay there, I'll stay here, I whispered like a peace treaty. The little dude didn't budge. Problem solved, or so I thought. Spoiler, I was catastrophically wrong. Midnight crept in. The house settled, breathing in slow pops of timber. Outside, a northern breeze whistled through window frames that had lost their seals decades ago. I dozed off counting Danish kings, Harald Bluetooth, Swain Forkbeard, and right as my brain hit ziz, something feather-light tiptoed across my forearm. Half asleep, I brushed it aside, thinking stray hair. Then there was another tickle, this time on my cheek. I snapped awake, slapped reflexively, and heard the wet crunch of exoskeleton underskin. My pulse spiked. Did I just pancake a spider on my face? Welcome to level 2 of dark humor. At least I'm getting my daily protein. I flicked on my phone flashlight, pointed it at the ceiling, and my breath froze. The entire slope above me rippled like chocolate chips melting on a cookie. Hundreds, maybe thousands of spiders, some small as pepper grains, others fat-bodied with shiny abdomens reflecting the LED glow like black pearls. They clustered in nests of silvery web, dangling on threads, antennae twitching as if they'd rehearsed a synchronized dive. The noise, that faint crackling in the walls, made sense now. It was their collective skitter, a living wallpaper shuffling for position. Adrenaline slammed into my veins so hard I swear I heard my heartbeat echo off the rafters. What do you do when the ceiling might literally fall on you in carnivorous confetti? Scream. I couldn't risk opening my mouth. One unlucky jump and I'd be hosting a live Fear Factor reboot. I bolted upright, head grazing webbing that stuck like cotton candy laced with glue.
A few spiders dropped onto the pillow, legs flailing. I swatted them with my folded hoodie, each smack leaving brown smears like coffee stains. My brain ran disaster math. Low ceiling means short drop means face first nightmare. Nope, 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 I muttered, voice cracking like teen karaoke. Hold on tight, because the next part is even worse. I grabbed my backpack, shoes half on, phone clenched between teeth, and crash crawled toward the door. Every squeeze of the doorknob felt like spider silk. Every shadow in the hall twitched. The staircase down to the living room groaned louder than my knees, and I imagined a tsunami of arachnids chasing my heels. Unfounded maybe, but paranoia doesn't read logic textbooks. Downstairs, the air smelled of stale cigarettes and citrus cleanser, a combo that felt wrong, like funeral flowers at a children's party. I commandeered the squeaky sofa, wrapped myself in my own hoodie cocoon, and kept the floor lamp blazing as a pathetic bug deterrent. Spoiler, spiders don't give a damn about IKEA bulbs. Sleep came in microdoses. 30-second dreams of silky threads tightening around my limbs jolted me awake. Somewhere above I heard faint pitter-paps like drizzle on cardboard, either more spiders exploring, or the roof laughing at me. Take your pick. At 3 a.m., particularly chonky specimen rappelled down beside the lamp, casting a Godzilla-sized shadow. I stifled a scream by biting my knuckle, swatted it into oblivion with a tourist brochure, and whispered an apology to whoever cleans the carpets. By 5 a.m., dawn painted the windows ash gray. I'd slept maybe 20 minutes total, heart still drumming a punk beat in my ears. Ever tried caffeine-free terror? Highly overrated. As soon as the sky turned a bruised pink, I surrendered. I stuffed my belongings into my pack, zippered that bag like sealing a body, and tiptoed upstairs for a final glance. The ceiling was quiet now, empty even, like the spiders knew daylight was eviction hour, and had scuttled into deeper cracks. That silence felt staged, theatrical. I backed out, locked the door, and texted the host, leaving early, personal emergency, tack. Then I power walked to the bus stop, scanning my clothes for hitchhikers. Every hair brushing my neck made me flinch. Behind me, the house squatted in innocent beige, pretending nothing ever happened. Nice try, villain. Lesson learned. Cheap beds can cost you sanity. If a room feels wrong, trust that gut drop. Your lizard brain clocks threats faster than TripAdvisor stars ever will. Somewhere in Denmark, a dusty attic still pulses with tiny legs and glossy eyes, waiting for the next backpacker who thinks one spider won't eat me. Maybe that victim will be braver, or maybe they'll become a permanent cocoon in the landlord's rotating horror exhibit. So next time you book a bargain stay, ask yourself, is the listing price worth the nightmares? Sleep tight, if you dare.
Picture this. You and your besties are 6 nights into a vacation, bellies full of takeout, minds buzzing with beach memories. When the clock creeps past 1:45 a.m., the house is dark, the floor is still warm from yesterday's sun, and the smart lock on the front door blinks a sinister green. With every slow, steady beep it whispers, someone is coming. Little do you know that someone isn't the host with fresh towels or a friendly neighbor delivering pastries. No, my fearless viewers, a glitch in the algorithm has queued up a trio of total strangers, and they're about to stroll right through the threshold you thought was yours alone. Ready for a digital trust fall into the abyss? Let's crack open this door and see what slithers out, because when code decides to play house, it doesn't knock, it uploads terror straight into your living room. For the first 5 evenings, the townhouse felt safe enough. Neutral toned walls, motivational art, and that faint citrus cleaner scent host spray to convince you germs don't exist. Our protagonists, Dawn, Jordan, and Casey, spent their days shredding tourist traps, then crashed on faux memory foam mattresses, lulled by the hum of an overworked AC unit. They locked up each night, punched in the keypad code, and trusted the glossy promise that technology plus 5-star reviews equaled security. Airbnb's interface even congratulated them. You're all set. Enjoy your stay. Cute, right? But any seasoned horror junkie knows that when a screen gets too cheerful, somewhere else a demon is sharpening its grin. They joked about the keypad being their silent butler, always on duty, never asking for tips, and certainly never opening for the wrong crowd, or so they thought. That final night, rain tap-tapped the windows like skeletal fingers, timing itself to the sleepy rhythm of 1:45 a.m. Upstairs, Dawn and Casey were cocooned under comforters, dreams drifting through night-washed boardwalk memories. Jordan scrolled doom posts downstairs, headphones leaking lo-fi beats. The townhome sighed, then click, deadbolt disengaged. The front door eased open with butler-level courtesy. Cool, damp air rolled in, carrying street grit and someone else's cologne. 3 silhouettes crossed the threshold like NPCs spawned into the wrong cutscene, whispering about where to drop their bags, oblivious to the fact that those walls were already occupied. A television somewhere crackled to life for a split second, ghost static hiccuping through the drywall, then died again as if embarrassed. Upstairs, Dawn's eyelids fluttered. She sensed weight in the hallway, the way animals feel earthquakes before humans. Her phone read 1:47 a.m. A floorboard sang under unfamiliar feet. The bedroom door drifted inward and framed a tall, stunned stranger. His outline pulsed in hallway light like a shadow trying on human skin. He didn't lunge or speak, he just watched. Dawn's brain fog vaporized into icy clarity. Her lungs filled and unleashed a scream that shattered the night like a sledgehammer through stained glass. Casey jolted awake as Dawn sprang from bed, adrenaline turning limbs into wrecking balls. The man stumbled back, shock mirrored in his pupils. The hallway bulb flickered in nervous applause, as though electricity itself felt awkward intruding. Dawn barreled after him, bare feet slapping the stairs like war drums. At the landing she spotted his companions, another man clutching suitcase wheels, and a woman mid-yawn, both frozen beneath the banshee howl from above. For a heartbeat no one moved. Then survival instinct flipped the switch. Strangers bolted, shoes squeaking across laminate, door snapping open, night swallowing them whole. Outside, footsteps faded beneath rain and distant sirens. Inside, heartbeats thundered, adrenaline tasted metallic, throats burned from shouting. Yet nothing was missing. Laptops, passports, shopping bags sat untouched. The horror wasn't theft, it was exposure, the nauseating proof that the fortress they'd paid for had paper walls. Even the cheap wall clock seemed offended, its ticking suddenly self-conscious in the cavernous silence after the exodus. Jordan's shaking fingers punched digits, first Airbnb's emergency line, then 911, while an operator asked flat questions, their eyes pinned every doorway, half expecting glitch ghosts to respawn. The Airbnb rep spoke in corporate calm tones, filed a report, and texted the host's private number, as if swapping digits could stitch up shattered nerves. Phones pinged, sirens wailed distant, blue lights painted rain puddles, and the townhouse, once cozy, now felt like a mouth missing its teeth. Sleep was officially cancelled. Fear had rented the sofa for the night. Static grew between each second, stretching time like taffy, until every heartbeat felt like a drum solo played on broken glass. Minutes later, the host's message dinged. He was aware of the situation and investigating a system error that let a new reservation start at 2 a.m., 9 hours before checkout. Translation: deep in Airbnb's back end, a checkbox permissioned their safe haven to double book itself like a cursed carnival ride. Worse, the platform's auto mailer had spat out the same keypad code our trio used. Digital skeleton key, anyone? The very circuit meant to protect them had opened the gates for unvetted strangers. Technology's promise of frictionless convenience had just slipped and slid into nightmare territory. The host's avatar in the chat smiled on, an infinite loop of hospitality while reality hemorrhaged caution tape across their brains. As dawn's grey light seeped through blinds, the friends took inventory. Valuables intact, sanity dented. They replayed the scene, each rerun spawning darker what-ifs, armed intruders, stolen passports, headlines that never were. Their vacation trinkets now felt radioactive, souvenirs of vulnerability. The townhouse smelled different too, like cheap cologne laced with algorithmic betrayal, somewhere between the coffee maker's gurgles and police flash photography. A new fear crystallized. If digital locks can welcome anyone, what else could come knocking at 2 a.m.? The friends wrapped mugs in trembling hands, coffee sloshing like murky prophecies, and wondered how many other travelers had met their unseen roommates. They demanded restitution, storm-dialed customer service, recited case numbers with cult-like fervor. Every call ended the same: your claim has been escalated. The phrase became a bureaucratic twilight zone, where voices dripped syrup sweet but solutions floated 5 floors above. Finally, like a jump scare without payoff, Airbnb emailed, case closed, refund denied, communication terminated. The platform ghosted them harder than the strangers had. Dawn felt the app glare from her phone like an unblinking eye, one notification away from haunting someone else's midnight. She deleted it, but the phantom vibration of false security lingered in her pocket. Their frustration fermented into a sour resolve, an aftertaste that clung to their tongues longer than any souvenir wine. So horror family, what's the takeaway? Trust is no safer in the cloud than in an attic stuffed with Ouija boards. You can 5-star background check and smart lock yourself silly, yet a single line of bad code can fling open the door to whoever's roaming at witching hour. Next time you curl beneath crisp rental sheets,
Remember, the keypad is only as loyal as the server it whispers to, and servers don't dream, they glitch. Sleep tight and maybe keep a baseball bat within reach, because in the era of algorithmic hospitality, the call isn't just coming from inside the house, it's being scheduled automatically by an app that thinks danger is welcome anytime after 2 a.m. Consider this your digital garlic and silver bullet. Never trust an interface that promises peace of mind in 32 slick pixels.